file of gnosis, the truth is revealed. Practical magic, the power we wield. No need for the frills, just action and spark. We shape the chaos, igniting the dark. Alchemical whispers, emotions align. Reality.
All right, everyone, get ready, because today we are going deep into chaos magic. We're going to uncover what it really is and how you can use it. And joining us to navigate this fascinating world is an expert on the subject.
Happy to be here.
Now, I think a lot of people hear chaos magic and they imagine, like bubbling cauldrons and chanting in dark robes, but it's not really like that, is it?
Not quite, no. It's definitely not about, stirring up trouble or anything. It's more about a personal approach to magic. You're encouraged to kind of find your own way, experiment, see what works for you.
So no rule books, no secret societies, just like pure personal power.
Exactly. It's all about understanding that your beliefs shape your reality. You can tap into that, By choosing and, let's say, adjusting those beliefs, you can influence the world around you.
So less like traditional witchcraft and more like, I don't know, mental kung fu or something.
Yeah, I like that analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is about mastering your mind, specifically understanding how powerful your emotions can be.
Wait, emotions? You're saying feelings are the key to chaos magic?
Absolutely. That's actually what makes this so interesting, Traditional magic focuses on, rituals and symbols, but chaos magic recognizes that your emotions are like the fuel for magical change. If you think about it, if belief is like the steering wheel, emotion is the engine.
Right. We all know how strong emotions can be. They can like make us sick or give us incredible energy. But how do we actually use that power in a practical way?
Well, a technique a lot of chaos magicians use is sigil magic.
Now, I've heard of sigils. There are those like magical symbols, right? But to be honest, the whole process always seemed a bit intimidating to me.
Yeah, I get that. It can be, especially the traditional way of doing it. You have to like break down your desire into this complex symbol. But there's a newer and maybe more effective approach.
Oh, okay, I'm listening. Let's hear about this new approach.
Well, it's about tapping into how it feels to have already achieved what you want. Instead of focusing on how to make the sigil, you shift your feelings to gratitude and fulfillment like it's already happened.
So like I'm tricking my brain into thinking my wish already came true.
Exactly. And one way to do that is by phrasing your desire as a past tense question.
Past tense, huh? That's interesting. Give me an example.
Sure. Let's say you want more abundance in your life. Instead of saying, I want to be wealthy, you'd ask yourself, how did I become so financially abundant?
Whoa. Yeah, I see what you mean. It's like I'm remembering my success and wondering, how did this happen?
Exactly. That's the feeling we want, that sense of already having what you desire. That fuels the magic. It's all about aligning your emotions with what you want to achieve.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it. Instead of worrying about how I'm going to get it, I'm focusing on how it feels to already have it. But wouldn't that make me, like, complacent? If I already feel like I have it, why would I take any action?
That's a great question. And it's important to remember that chaos magic isn't about, just wishing for things. It's about aligning your energy with what you want. So you're naturally drawn to the right actions and opportunities. Think of it like setting your internal compass towards your goal. You still have to walk the path, but you have this guiding force leading you.
So it's like a partnership between intention and action.
Exactly. You combine that with the power of your emotions and you can really make some powerful changes.
All right, this is blowing my mind a bit. But I think we should break this down even further, don't you?
Sure. Let's start with the basics. Choosing the right goal for your sigil magic.
So we got our goal, something that feels good and possible, and we've got that past tense question to really get us feeling like it's already real. So what's next in this Sigil Magic 2.0?
Now we get to design the sigil, but forget about the complicated letter stuff. In chaos magic, it's about putting your emotions directly into the symbol.
So no fancy calligraphy then. What do we do?
It's kind of like automatic drawing, but you're using the feeling from your past tense question. You say the question out loud over and over and let your hand just move on the paper. Let your emotions guide you and let the sigil kind of appear naturally.
So I'm putting those feelings of wonder and gratitude onto the paper.
Exactly. Don't worry about making it perfect or anything. This isn't about being an artist. It's about putting your emotional energy into the sigil. It's about making a real physical version of what you want.
Okay, so I've got my scribbles, my magic symbol. What do we do with it?
Well, you can touch it up a bit, make it look nice for you, add some colors maybe. Whatever feels right, this is about you connecting with it. But even before you do that, the magic has already started working.
Really? Just by scribbling while I'm feeling those good emotions?
Yeah, crafting the sigil, channeling those feelings, that's magic in itself. It's all about shifting how you feel inside to match what you want to happen on the outside. The sigil is just something physical to focus that energy on.
This is really incredible. So I've got my emotionally charged sigil, but how do I actually use it to make things happen?
That's where we use the idea of gnosis. Gnosis is like a heightened awareness, an altered state of mind where you can basically impress your will onto reality. It's the key to activating the sigil and sending it out to the universe.
Now, gnosis, if I remember right, that's where things can get a little intense.
That's true. There are all sorts of ways to get into gnosis, some more, let's say, adventurous than others. A common one is using the energy of orgasm. It's very powerful and easily accessible energy, right?
Yeah, right. But you've also mentioned some other ways, things like self-suffocation or near-death experiences. I appreciate the dedication to the craft, but those are a bit much for me. Are there any other options that are a bit less, well, life-threatening?
Of course, it's all about what works for you. The key is intensity. Any experience that gives you a strong emotional response can lead to gnosis, like roller coasters, strenuous exercise, or even deep meditation.
So it's not about the specific activity, but the intensity of the feeling it gives you.
Yes, exactly. And here's an interesting thing. The emotion doesn't even have to be positive. Anger, fear, grief, all of those raw, powerful emotions, they can work just as well to trigger gnosis.
So I could use, say, a memory that makes me feel a strong emotion, even if it's not a good one, and use that to activate my sigil.
Yes, exactly. It's about taking all that raw emotional power, wherever it comes from, and channeling it towards your magical intention.
No, I never thought of it like that. So chaos magic is kind of about, accepting all of our emotions, the good and the bad, and seeing them as a potential source of power for change.
That's a great way to put it. It's about realizing the power we all have inside us, the light and the dark, and learning how to use it intentionally.
This is really amazing stuff. But hold on. I've made my sigil. I've found a way to achieve gnosis that works for me. I'm ready to activate it. What now? What happens after I launch the sigil?
That's when you have to let go. Once you've activated your sigil, release it to the universe. Don't cling to it. Don't obsess over what's going to happen. Just trust the process and the magic you've set in motion.
So no constantly checking my bank account, waiting for that abundance to show up.
Haha, no, exactly. Just let it go and know that you've done your part. Now it's up to the universe to work its magic.
This is so much more than I thought it was.
Right.
The sigils are just one part of chaos magic, right?
Yeah.
What else is there?
Oh, there's a whole world of techniques out there. Like, what about when you want to influence a specific person or situation? That's where influence magic and thought forms come in.
Thought forms, those sound like something out of, like, a fantasy book.
They might sound like that, but they're actually really simple. Thought forms are basically concentrated bundles of energy that you create for a specific purpose. It's like making a magical helper to assist you with your goals.
So I'm making, like, an imaginary friend, but with real magical powers.
You could say that. And just like with sigils, it starts with intention and emotion. You visualize the thought form, you fill it with what you want, and then you let it go to do its work.
That's really pushing the boundaries of what I thought was possible. But you know what? I think we should dive into these techniques, maybe even try creating a thought form or two. We can do that in the next part of our deep dive.
Hi everyone! Next week we will have 3 podcasts about very interesting books on chaos magic because, although they are not specific lines, they are very useful to those who are willing to use them, both in concrete jungles and in nature. This is here at
Chaos Magic Time.
Welcome back to the show where we're exploring chaos magic and figuring out how to use it to shape our realities. Last time we got into thought forms, those magical helpers we can create with our minds.
Yeah, thought forms really get at the core of chaos magic, using your beliefs and your imagination to actually make changes in the world.
You know, when I first heard about thought forms, it sounded a little out there,
Yeah.
even for me. But then I started thinking about those times when I've used visualization or affirmations to get what I wanted. And it kind of clicked. Is it really that different?
It's not that different, no. We're always creating thought forms whether we know it or not. Every thought, every belief, it all takes shape in the energetic realm. With chaos magic, you're just doing it intentionally. You're giving those thought forms specific goals and feelings.
So it's like taking those random thoughts we have and giving them structure and power.
Exactly. Imagine you have an idea for a project, like writing a book. That idea is like a seed. But it needs more to actually grow into a book, right?
Yeah.
You need to give it time, attention, and most importantly, you need to believe in it. That's what you're doing with a thought form. You're taking that seed of an idea, filling it with your energy and belief, and then letting it grow in the real world.
So it's like I'm creating a magical ally to help me do what I want, like writing that book or overcoming a fear or finding a new opportunity.
Yes, exactly. And the more energy you put into the thought form, the more powerful it becomes. It's like you're creating a partner for your magical journey.
This is starting to sound a lot less like magic and more like, I don't know, a really advanced form of self-improvement.
That's a good way to think about it. Chaos magic is all about taking control of your reality, understanding that you can shape your experiences with your thoughts, beliefs, and feelings.
But what about when you want to change something outside of yourself, like a situation or maybe even another person? Can thought forms help with that too?
They can. You can create thought forms to send healing energy to someone, to resolve a conflict, or even to influence someone's decision.
Okay, now that's getting into tricky territory, ethically speaking. Are we crossing a line when we use magic to influence other people?
It's a good question. And we always need to think about ethics when we use magic, just like in any other part of life. The important thing is to always act with integrity and respect. Never use your power to hurt or manipulate other people.
So no love spells to make someone fall in love with me.
Maybe it's best to leave that to fairy tales. Real love is about free will and respect. It can't be forced.
Right, good point. So if I'm making a thought form to influence a situation, it's more about like encouraging things to go in a good direction, not trying to control everything.
Exactly. It's about aligning the energy of the situation with what you want to see happen, creating a more harmonious flow, you could say.
We are and live here to enjoy life. Avoiding this means avoiding being ourselves. One of the ways people like to live is by learning more. And that's why I make these podcasts about books and about chaos magic. Here in Brazil, we are all educated to be cheap. That hurt education to be socially accepted. So I thought that the popular objection to chaos magic would be very intense. I was wrong. Here, people are eager to learn and practice things that work for us Brazilians. It's not different outside of Brazil, but since English is not our native language, communication is a bit rigid. Anyway, I now make podcasts in English because just as many other people also liked them. I believe it is important to use these podcasts as a basis for at least Chaos Magic group to start discussions about them. However, I must point out that groups that are not practitioners of Chaos Magic will be very surprised when they practice these works that I recommended. And also I will recommend. Let's keep our hunger for learning strong here in Brazil or anywhere on the world. Hugs.
This is all so fascinating. Before we wrap up our deep dive into chaos magic, though, there's one more technique you mentioned that I want to hear more about. Influence magic. What is that all about?
Influence magic is about, well, influencing things. It's using your intention and energy to shift things in your favor, even just a little bit. It could be as simple as visualizing success before an important meeting, or maybe charging an object with a specific intention.
So like giving the universe a nudge in the right direction.
Exactly. And a classic way to do influence magic is with candles.
Candles. That sounds surprisingly simple.
It is. But remember, in chaos magic, the tools themselves aren't that important. What matters is the intention and energy you put into them. Say you want to create some distance between yourself and someone who's bringing you down. You could take 2 candles, one for you and one for that person. As you move the candles further apart, you're physically and energetically creating that separation.
So I'm not just moving candles around, I'm putting my intention and feelings into it. I'm making it a magical act.
Exactly. It's all about taking a physical action and filling it with meaning and emotion.
Okay, wow, my mind is officially blown. So to sum it all up, we talked about sigil magic, thought forms, and influence magic. And what they all have in common is they use our beliefs, our emotions, and our imaginations to shape our reality.
It's about realizing that we're not just watching life happen to us. We're active participants. We're shaping our experiences through our thoughts, feelings, and actions.
And chaos magic gives us a way to do that intentionally.
It's about owning your power, experimenting with different things, and finding what works for you. and having the courage to think outside the box, to question everything, and create your own unique path to magical empowerment.
This has been an incredible deep dive. I feel like we've just scratched the surface of what's possible with chaos magic. Do you have any final words of advice for our listeners who are ready to start exploring this for themselves?
Remember, your mind is the most powerful tool you have. Trust your intuition, explore with curiosity, and never be afraid to break the rules. After all, in chaos magic, the only limits are the ones you set for yourself.
And on that note, we're going to wrap up this deep dive into chaos magic. Thank you so much to our expert for sharing your knowledge with us. And to all our listeners, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep creating your own magic.
Reality bends to the will of the mind, shaping the chaos, we're forging the way. No rules to hinder, no debts to repay. With sigils and spirits, the forces we call, directing the cosmos, commanding all. With thought forms we build, with chaos we thrive. The spark in the shadow, our magic's alive. No theory untamed.